Hello, everyone. This is Part-Time Nerds episode 8, aka part 2 of the controller debate.
Yep, part 2 of the controller episode. We'll just call it an episode.
Debacle?
At least right now we're just going through the history of it all.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see if it becomes a debate.
Well, history is a little bit of a, controversial statement.
Not history.
We're stating our experience as history.
Our experience.
Yep. Nope. That's what we're rolling with. God complex. Let's go. Let's do this.
Woo!
This is my story, Ray.
It's my idea.
Okay, well, the last time we left you guys off, we ended, I believe, on the last Not last. Oh my god. What year is it?
Jeez.
I don't know.
The last thing we talked about was the PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation.
Right. Okay, so now what we're moving in is what we're going to call as the quote-unquote modern generation of controllers.
Yeah, for now, the previous generation, at least.
Yes, so we're talking PS3, Xbox 360, Wii. I gotta ask you a question, right?
Wii.
Which one came out first, the Wii or the PS3 or the Xbox 360?
360.
360, then...
That was the first console that come out for that generation.
It was 360, then what was followed by that?
I want to say PS3.
That's what I want to say too. But the thing about is the Wii, its hardware is just so old.
Yeah, but I think the Wii was 06, freshman year. I want to say that.
So was the PS3.
I just don't know which one. The PS3 and Wii are obviously much closer in release.
Were they like months apart or something like that?
I think so.
Okay.
But the Xbox 360 had a year head start.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the big thing with Microsoft.
Let's go with chronological order then. That's the reason I asked. Xbox 360 controller. Your thoughts? My thoughts?
You can start.
Okay.
Because you think it's the best controller, so you should start.
Oh, my. You're just putting words in my mouth. It is... it's not the best controller of all time. It's close. It has an argument for the best controller of all time, and I can't really name another controller that's a dead on 100% beats it out.
Uh-huh.
That's my problem. The only thing holding it back is, two things. One thing is obviously the D-pad.
Yep.
That was basically, a disc.
Yeah, I believe that's the number one misstep for that controller.
Absolute complaint. Everyone hates it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you can always use the excuse, Nintendo had a patent on the T. Yeah, but you didn't have to make a directional pad a circle.
Yeah. But to be fair, they had another version, more expensive model later on, where they created a better D-pad.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, they had this weird switch where you could control it and it becomes like a Nintendo type of D-pad. As close as possible.
That's the Xbox One controller.
No, they had it for the 360.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know. D-pad was the main biggest thing. I don't have much to say on it. It was just all around terrible. Do you have any thoughts on the D-pad specifically?
No, that was just horrible. Like, anytime I would want to use the D-pad for a particular game, say an RPG or something, going through the menus, I would actually have to go to the analog stick.
The main point of a D-pad in this modern age is that it's more accurate for specific inputs as opposed to an analog stick, which has an infinite amount of directional input, whereas a D-pad is supposed to have 8 and that's it. Problem is when you make your D-pad a circle, it feels like an analog stick and no one can actually lean it in the correct direction that they're meaning to.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel good either. The plastic too, just
it's like you can't do a sure you can on it.
You can't. You can. It should be simple.
Yeah, sure you can.
But no, it's so difficult.
It turns into a fireball. It doesn't matter.
Miss input all day.
But it was built very well. Super solid. Toss it around.
Nice and round too on the edges of the controller. It just fits so nicely. The trigger felt great.
It had pretty much I would say perfect triggers.
Oh yeah, one of the best triggers I believe on the controller.
Bumper placement or the bumper configuration could have been improved on, but I could see what they were working with because they were sacrificing bumper usability just to make the triggers that much better.
Yeah.
So they had to put it out of the way, so that's acceptable.
Yeah, the bumpers were good too, but I guess to nitpick, I still prefer the PlayStation their PlayStation's R1 L1 bumper, like how the button actually feels, the feedback.
Oh yeah.
Compared to the Xbox, but it wasn't bad at all. It's still solid.
But the reason those are better is because their R2 and L2 suck.
Yeah, so I mean, at least with the Xbox 360 controller, the triggers were good, the L2, R2.
And the bumpers are always a secondary control, so it's okay to sacrifice that a little bit just to get your primary control a little better. Or that much better. I do miss those silver and white buttons.
From the OG Xbox?
Yeah. Oh yeah, those are great, yep.
Yeah. Then they just changed it at the end to the bumpers.
Yeah.
That's
fine. That was a smart move.
It makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it was really solid. tossed that thing around a lot.
Yeah. I threw that controller on the ground so many times.
What games?
Halo 3.
Halo 3?
And Halo Reach.
Why is Halo 3 making you toss your controller around?
Because I'm playing multiplayer.
Ah, okay. Just can't match up to those 12-year-olds,
I can't, dude. They're too good. Doing 360 no-scopes. I don't even know.
Well, I threw around the controller a lot, but that was due to Ninja Gaiden 2. Back to my my love-hate relationship with that game. Never, I've thrown it against the wall, against a table, against the floor.
But it's really durable.
I've never had a single one break on me.
But then you feel bad, like, wow, I can't believe I just threw a controller on the ground for a video game.
No, it deserved it.
I felt bad afterwards, like, I look like an idiot.
you don't certain games you don't play around people, right? You don't need to see that side of you. But build quality wise, Contra wise is great. My only problem is that the 360 controller didn't use an internal battery.
Oh yeah, the double A is there. Yeah, we should bring that up.
Double A's, so there's a big old bulge right in the bottom. It hooks right where your middle fingers would rest. So if you're paying attention to it, it gets in the way. I get that once you're playing a game, it doesn't really matter, but then you can kind of feel it. And the thing that really brings it up to me is, like, I got my hands on a wired 360 controller, and it just felt that much better because it didn't have that extra bulge in it.
That's true. You don't have to worry about the battery. Wireless is a big thing back then too. It was the first time bringing wireless as a standard to modern console controllers.
It's still a big deal now.
No, it's a big deal now, but back then that was the first time standard consoles standardized the wireless controller.
Was it the first?
Well, GameCube had the Wavebird controller, but that wasn't out of the box when you bought the console.
Okay, it was an add-on. Yep.
Now it's wireless is a standard now.
I get what you're saying.
That's what I meant.
And then I don't know if we mentioned this in the last podcast. My last problem with the 360 controller was the placement of the analog stick versus the D-pad.
Oh, okay,
yeah. We definitely touched on that, right?
Yeah, we touched on that because PlayStation, obviously the dual analog stick's at the bottom.
Right, because now the analog stick is in a better neutral position for your thumb. But I would argue having your thumb in a neutral position is not the most, reflexive. Not best for your reflexes, I want to say.
Yeah, especially when you're playing, say, a shooter or fighter or something.
Yeah, you don't want your thumb to be in neutral. Like, sitting down is a neutral position, but, it doesn't help with your reaction speed.
Just get good.
Yeah, I want to get good, but I need the right tools to get good. Otherwise, what's the point? Why would I want to get good at, like, Lonzo Ball's shot?
Oh, you can't fix that.
Yeah.
No, I wanted him to fix it.
No, I don't know.
What else can be said about the controller?
It was just a good controller.
How do you like the buttons? The A, B, X, Y.
Great.
Colors look good, but in terms of feeling it, how do the buttons feel?
That's debatable because it does have the membrane buttons in terms of like a regular membrane button.
Not like a mechanical type of. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. So it does squish down, and like most controllers are used to that, and I get that once you're used to that, it feels great. Thing is, I have this kind of Razer third-party controller for my PC. And it's built off of the 360. It's meant to work for the 360 and PC. And that one actually has mechanical switches.
Does it actually just feel much? Do you use that? Did you use that when you were using a 360?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh, so what were we even talking about this controller?
It doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't click down as much.
Oh, okay.
But there's an audible and tactile feedback of the click.
Tactile visceral
But the problem is when it doesn't click down as much, like when you're mashing, you actually press harder than you should, and it kind of hurts your thumb. So it's an adjustment period. So I'm not saying one is better than the other. It's just whatever you're used to. I will say that it does have a quicker response time because you're not bottoming out the button as much.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you're playing something competitive. That plays a huge role. And then, I guess for the pain you feel, it's just you got to get stronger thumbs.
No. Get good.
Get good. Gamer community, get good.
And we're focusing a lot on the negatives, but I would say that was a very solid controller.
Yeah, we're just nitpicking here because what else are you going to say about that controller?
You only nitpick something when it's like the top, 10,
exactly.
top 3. So.
You got to start a conversation somewhere.
You hate the things you love.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you just find those little nuances and just nitpick from there. But yeah, the 360 was a solid controller, one of the best. One of the best.
And so chronologically,
next?
Yeah, next thing, PS3.
Let's just go with PS3.
Oh my god!
So the first PlayStation 3 controller, what was it called? The 6-axis. All right. No rumble. First of all,
no rumble.
360 had it.
When they first came out with it, they were arguing, "Oh, rumble is an old technology. We're trying to push the industry forward."
Wait,
that was their selling point.
I think Nintendo Wii came first then. Because with the 6-axis, maybe I think they were just trying to imitate the Wii.
Okay.
Well, they inserted that right at the end or something.
Gotcha. Well, let's keep going with the PS3.
Yeah, let's go with PlayStation. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it just made me so mad as like a gamer and just a child.
Yeah.
They're marketing Rumble is an old technology. We don't have time for that. We're trying to push the roll forward with the 6-axis. And
yeah, you're just copying the Wii hype.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
Yeah,
Man.
6-axis is I don't know if it's the precursor or the copy of whatever. It's like motion control light.
Yeah, that's when motion controls were just hot.
Yeah, and that's coming from people, you and me, that hate motion controls.
We hate motion controls.
Awful.
They all understand that now, especially.
But we'll touch on that. But
Yeah.
6-axis was like not accurate at all. There was this one game. It was Lair.
Oh man, the
game-
dragon.
the- with the
Was that I think
dragons.
it was a launch title or something.
I want to say it's kind of like a Dynasty Warriors-esque type of game where it's just hordes of like minions that you're mowing down.
It just looked good at the time too when
Yeah,
you're
it does look
demoing
good.
it.
And the weird
But
thing
then-
is, you flew around, but you didn't fly around with traditional controls. You flew around by,
Damn six-axis.
leaning your control to 6-axis. And
Trying to promote and market this controller.
Yep, and that game did
Motion
poorly.
control.
It deserved to do poorly.
Yeah, it
'cause
deserves it because it
it
wasn't a good game.
wasn't a good game. On top of it just not controlling well because the 6-axis just isn't equipped for that kind of one-to-one motion.
Definitely not accurate at all. What did it give? Did Layer give you the option to change to the sticks?
I don't think so.
Just that bad of a game, huh?
I never bought that game because I'm a kid. I don't have money to waste on stuff like that.
Yeah, you bought Heavenly Sword, right?
I did not. I am so happy when I got my PS3. I got my
man.
PS3 probably a year into the cycle.
Oh, you did. Oh, that's pretty early.
Yeah.
Because that generation in particular was pretty long. That happened during the recession, so that generation extended.
Right, but
normally.
a year after the initial launch of the PS3, I think it already dropped down to $400.
Oh, that was another thing. But we're talking about controllers.
We're talking about controllers. Heavenly Sword, awful. But at the time, I was
Yeah.
I was looking up on all the forums online. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, should I buy Heavenly Sword or should I buy Ninja Gaiden Sigma?
I played the demo so many times on the PlayStation 3.
I will give Heavenly Sword. It has a very cool
Yeah.
story, characters, presentation.
Presentation, yeah, that was good.
But the gameplay
The
was
demo
bad.
was great, and then...
Had Andy Serkis as the main villain.
Oh, really?
That's
Oh,
Andy
I didn't know
Serkis.
that. Okay.
Yeah, so they're the first HD generation they're trying to sell.
Yeah, they were-
motion capture and all this great technology.
And they were comparing it a lot to God of War, because
Yes,
obviously picking back off its success in the PlayStation 2 era, right after God of War 2.
the game did look very good,
Looked
and
good.
the characters, animation, everything was great. It's just it just played poorly.
Oh, man.
That wasn't the controller's fault.
I know.
It was just a bad game.
I remember my friend was so excited for that game, and then it just turned out bad.
But good thing I bought Ninja Gaiden Sigma because obviously the sequel to that became my favorite game of all time.
Which one?
Ninja Gaiden
2?
It's my favorite game of all time.
Are you sure?
We already talked about this.
I mean, that's...
Well,
Okay.
I get why you don't like it.
I'm just kidding.
Because it's too
I'm just
hard.
kidding. No.
It's too hard for you. I get that.
I'm
It's
just
fine. Right? It's fine. You just want
Don't
to
take it personally. I'm just joking.
I'm not taking it personally. I'm saying I understand where it comes from. Sometimes it's too hard for people to put in the effort to learn. It's fine. Back to the controller.
Yeah, back to so PS3. What else is...
Well,
Triggers.
6-axis was terrible.
6-axis, the motion controls, terrible.
I'm not going to give the triggers too much flack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really not because, at least they're trending towards the right direction. They saw Xbox 360 do the smooth trigger.
Yeah, smooth trigger.
Actually, even the first Xbox had the smooth trigger.
Oh, yeah, that's why I was like, oh, come on. Halo, baby.
Yep.
First-person shooters on that thing.
I mean, the buttons didn't contour correctly, but I understand why they made it bend to the convex side just because it looks clean.
It made sense, yeah, from a design perspective, aesthetically, and also, say, racing games, you're just accelerating, decelerating.
Mm-hmm.
But then for shooters, I was just so used to the Xbox 360, especially since it came out a year earlier. And then you're also playing the original Halo on the original Xbox. The trigger concave just felt better.
Yeah, the trigger felt
Like
so
an actual
bad.
trigger. That's what a trigger.
Yeah, so when we say triggers for the PS3, we're talking R2, L2.
Mm-hmm.
The triggers felt so weird that I actually, even most shooters that I played, like Resistance, I still use R1, L1.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so we're used to. And over time, there actually came, I don't know if this is a first-party thing or a third-party thing. There was these little snap-on, little tabs things that you could snap onto the PS3 controller.
Oh, there's a third-party thing.
As an aftermarket deal, and it
Yeah.
made it convex. It looked awful, terrible. No way Sony could do it as a first one. It looked terrible.
It's just like admitting, yeah, we messed up.
But it felt really good. And aside from that, really design-wise, the PS3 controller was pretty much, the DualShock 3 was pretty much the same as the DualShock 2, except it was wireless. It was Bluetooth.
No, they were both Bluetooth wireless.
Well, the PS2 wasn't wireless.
No, PS. Oh, you're talking about the six. I'm talking about
to
6-axis Bluetooth. A DualShock 3.
I'm talking DualShock 3 compared to like the prior generation PS2 controller.
Okay, yeah.
But my biggest gripe.
And Rumble, yeah, finally.
Well, they added Rumble. Oh, that's right. It wasn't called the DualShock 3 when it came out. It was called
6-axis controller. And then afterwards they released the DualShock 3.
Right, because
added the Rumble.
Because they can't call it a DualShock because it didn't shock. That's right.
Yep.
But anyways, my biggest gripe with the 6-axis and the DualShock 3, the build quality was complete crap.
It felt too light.
Yep.
Did you? Okay, you felt the same way. Okay. Good.
It felt too light. It creaks.
Yeah.
The plastic's the worst material.
You could just torque that thing and just break it apart.
Yes, exactly. You can break it apart with your bare hands.
Torsional
you
failure.
You can drop it, it'll break. Mm-hmm. It'll pop apart. And here's the thing. They use the cheaper plastic. You know how you can tell? Is if you shine a high-power flashlight through a DualShock 2, the light won't pass through the plastic.
I actually kind of like the seeing through it a little bit, though. It reminds me of the Game Boy Color. But I understand it's cheaper.
Not the same
no,
thing
but it reminds me of the Game Boy Color.
No, but you couldn't necessarily see through it. It was just, you can kind of see the light bleed through it, and it's just, it's awful. Terrible plastic.
Well, in the buttons, you could kind of see through a little bit when you shine the light. Only on the buttons, on the button portion.
Yeah, but it's...
Yeah, no, it's really cheap.
I don't know why you would like that, but...
No, it just reminded me of the Game Boy Color. Clear purple. That's all
association.
It did. Yeah, it just reminded me.
But my biggest gripe on it is I think through the years, I've broken at least 5 6-axis controllers.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't break one. I had one faulty stick. Eventually it got sticky and just died, but...
No, every single one of mine has broke. The only one, I only have one current one that's working because I still have my PS3.
Oh, okay.
And that's because I had to take apart multiple controllers and try to put them back together with the
swapping parts.
Swapping the parts together and getting one functioning controller. That's how bad it is. Just awful, awful build quality. D-pad didn't change, and we got differing opinions on that. That's fine. But
no, I like the D-pad.
Yeah, you do. And I don't. Yeah. And, I'm not holding anything against you. Yeah. I can understand why you'd like it.
I think it's better than the 360 D-pad.
Oh, God.
But, I mean, it's hard to beat, say, Nintendo's or other D-pads.
I think a DDR mat's better than the 360 D-pad.
That's good. What else can we say? But other than that, everything else is pretty similar to the PlayStation 2. Button layouts, sticks, the analog sticks at the bottom.
It added the home button.
Oh, I added the home button. Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we're gonna go about that.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Yeah. DualShock 3, obviously, it added a rumble motor, so it got a little heavier.
Yeah, it should have been that from the start.
But the build quality and the triggers didn't get any better, so it's an iterative jump.
Iterative jump. But at least they didn't go with what they showed off with when they teased the PlayStation 3 for the first time with the Spider-Man font. They had the boomerang controller. Remember when they teased it? That's what the PlayStation 3 controller was. Prototype, at least. I
might have missed that.
It's like a boomerang controller.
Oh.
I was like, what the? And then they went back to
Was it like a Bop It?
No, it was just a little boomerang. Maybe like a semicircle shape. That was the contour of the exterior body.
It sounds like you're describing to me a Wavebird controller.
No, it's like a literal boomerang.
Okay. Well,
if people Google a PlayStation 3 boomerang controller, you'll see. All right, now I guess we're going into the Wii. We're going to the Wii now?
I don't think I'm ready for the Wii.
That's the worst controller of this generation.
Worst controller of all time.
Okay. I mean, there's the Wii U, though.
No. I'm going to Wii.
That's true.
The Wii, okay.
The Wii brought out the 6-axis. It forced to connect.
Okay. We'll get to it, but I'm going to put it out right now. Comparing Wii U controller, which is that weird tablet gamepad thing, versus the Wii. If I had both consoles in front of me, I would rather play the Wii U because the controller wouldn't chase me away. A Wiimote and nunchuck would chase me away from playing a game.
No. A
Wii U gamepad.
When it comes to that, you're right. I prefer the Wii U gamepad.
A Wii U gamepad, I would play it if I have to.
Because at least it has a traditional button controller layout.
Yep.
Even though you have that wide space in the middle of your two hands.
Yeah.
Other than that,
stuck on a desert island, I had both controllers. I'll play the Wii U because that's my only option.
And then use
with
the Wii U.
I'll find something else to do besides play games.
And then with the Wii U gamepad, you just knock yourself out, like literally knock yourself out,
like a nunchuck. Yeah. Obviously, we both don't like it. I think I dislike it a lot more than you do.
Yeah, you dislike it more.
But my problem... Okay,
I never really played much of it, so I can't...
The Wiimote itself, when you're holding it in the configuration you're supposed to, there's literally only one face button. What the heck is that?
Yeah, well, the A button, the big A button.
The big A
where
button.
your thumb rests.
Uh-huh.
And then your index finger rests on the trigger, which is the B button.
Yeah, what?
Where's the...
So it's limiting games in terms of like what they can control. It's like, oh no, but you can use. There got so many configurations and options, so that one style or whatever configuration for anybody. But the problem is when you give me that many options, but every option is bad. What's the point?
That controller only worked well for Nintendo's first party because they designed specifically for it. Everything else gone. That's why there's like literally little to no third-party support for that system.
I wouldn't even go as far to say that. I would say that controller only worked for Wii Sports.
No, it felt good with Twilight Princess, Zelda, and Super Mario Galaxy.
Didn't they have
which is one of the best games.
Didn't they have to do a revamp of the Wii with an extra dongle for Twilight Princess to work properly?
Mm-mm. Or that was just Skyward Sword? That was Skyward Sword, where they made it more accurate.
Okay.
Because the whole gimmick was, you're looking at Link's sword in the game. It's literally your Wii remote.
Okay.
1-to-1 type of reaction.
Fine. On your note on Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
You're saying the Wii mote and nunchuck work well for that?
Not well. I was thinking it's fine.
Okay,
I didn't have an issue with it.
Okay, my next question was going to be, would you rather have a regular controller than...
Oh, yeah, of course. I'd always rather have a regular controller for that.
Okay, so it was serviceable is what you're saying.
Serviceable, yeah.
Yeah, it's no good. What it was good for is when you moved it to like a NES style.
Oh.
Move it where you use the D-pad.
Because the D-pad felt good on that thing.
The D-pad was great.
So...
Yep.
Of course, I don't know if Nintendo still has the pen, right?
They still had that pen at that point.
Beautiful D-pad.
Yeah, it was great. And the reason that works so well is the D-pad was great, and then there was only 2 buttons. Yeah. So if you're playing an NES style game, it's perfect because there's only 2 buttons.
Yeah, the 1 and 2 button, which acts as your A and B for that NES game because they virtual console.
Yeah, but I look at the Wii and the Wiimote, and I'm just like, what?
No, it's bad.
What's going
that
on?
Wii generation, those 2 consoles by Nintendo, bad.
I can't speak to the durability of it.
No, it's durable.
It was durable? Yeah. Obviously.
Even without the Nintendo first and third party gloves, condoms that you put on the Wii remotes, it's still really durable.
Yeah, they have
it felt good. Like, I mean, in terms of build quality, it was good.
They have to be built well because you've seen like 1,000 YouTube videos of those Wiimotes going through
TVs. Oh, man. They have a strap, guys.
No one's going to use the strap.
I always use the strap because I was afraid of throwing it on the TV.
You and I are the personality types that would use straps. Yeah. I don't think most people would.
Yeah, it's just... It takes 2 seconds of your life each time you start a game.
And the nunchuck attachment, did that need its own discrete battery, or did it just...
No, it just connected. Battery? It just connected to the Wii remote.
And how long was that cord? Like 3 feet?
Yeah, it wasn't long.
Yeah.
But it was good enough. It was, like you said, serviceable. You just couldn't do... What were you talking about earlier before this podcast? You couldn't stretch like you were using a Switch remote.
Yeah, because you were trying to tell me that the Wii mote and nunchuck idea is the same idea as like using the separate Joy-Cons, which I obviously said I liked before because I like to be able to stretch, but the cord's not long enough for me to stretch. Yeah. It's not about the actual feel itself in the hand, it's the freedom of motion of like I can adjust.
Sure, freedom of motion, but then the actual button layout feels better. If you're playing in that configuration, it feels better on the Wii remote. The buttons are spaced more, they're just better spaced and proper.
Well, I don't think you could say the buttons are spaced better
because there's
only one button.
No, there's the A and the Z, and then you have your Z button on the left nunchuck, and the C. There's 2 buttons. Say the trigger button and the bumper button on the nunchuck side. You have the stick on the left hand. On the right, you have the trigger button, acts as your B button, and then the big A button with your thumb.
I get what you're saying about the feel of it, but there's not enough buttons for it to be for me to agree that it's more functional.
No, that's true. No, but for particular games, that's enough. Like Zelda, that Wii remote would feel better than the Switch controllers. Those buttons are tiny. I don't know if you compare the 2. Those things are tiny.
Yeah, I played Zelda for 2 days straight, man. I got used to the feeling.
Like I'm just saying, if you're playing that particular configuration where you have it undocked and you're just swinging your hands around.
Don't agree.
Because the buttons actually they're bigger.
Yeah, they're bigger because there's
the stick is dedicated, like a bigger stick, not these tiny little sticks on the Switch.
The button can be bigger because it's only a singular button. Hey, face button.
Yeah, and then the trigger button.
That's not enough.
That's one side. The other side has the Z button, and then the C button, and then the stick.
You're adding all those together, you got 4 buttons total. I'm used to 4 face buttons on one hand.
No, that's why I'm saying it works well with first-party Nintendo games.
I disagree.
Oh, which are the only really good games on that system: Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess, and then Tropical Freeze.
Tropical Freeze. Tropical
Those are the Wii
Freeze
games.
using the NES
Oh, and
layout.
Smash. But I mean, you don't use that Wii remote.
No, I would not put Smash in.
I'm just talking about games.
I'm not putting Smash in a good game quality or in the good game category.
Oh, really?
Brawl was bad, dude.
Oh, no. It's still fun.
No.
Wait, really?
Did not like Brawl.
Like, I don't like Brawl either, but I mean, as just a game, like a regular, casual, you're just going in, you're playing a party game. Mm-hmm. Brawl is a fun game.
To be fair, your opinion on this probably is more, I'd say it's weighted more correctly because I actually never enjoyed Smash before Smash 4. Because Melee's just too hard.
It's not hard.
Melee's too hard.
No, not when you're playing with people at the same level. It's all just another game.
But nobody's on my level. I'm so bad at it. Everyone grew up playing it, and I'm just like, nah.
Don't worry, don't worry, Sakurai or whoever else takes the helm, they'll never go back to that.
Nope.
You want to avoid that as much as possible.
No, they're not. They don't like their own fans.
What's next? Wii U?
No, I'm still stuck in the Wii is bad.
I mean, we're just gonna say the Wii U
But
controller is bad, just not as bad.
But there's so many color options, right?
That's what the Switch should be working on. They should have multiple options by now.
Okay, biggest,
no.
Not the biggest, but another big gripe on the Wii.
Yeah.
Every single part of that controller was a disgusting glossy plastic.
Oh yeah.
Made your hands sweat. It'd slip out of your hands all the time. Hence all the broken TVs. It's just felt gross because every other controller we used to has kind of a semi-matte finish.
Yeah.
So like your hands don't end up getting grimy and slippery, and you don't rub grease all over the creases. The Wii's just bad.
Sounds like a personal problem.
No. Wii, worst console of all time.
No, the Wii was bad.
Yeah, it was
The
bad.
Wii controller's bad. Wii U controller's bad. Do we have to talk about the Wii U
No.
controller? Let's talk about it.
Let's touch it real quick.
Let's touch it real quick because it's
stupid.
the
It's
same
bad.
issues with the Wii.
Yep. My biggest gripe is that if you're playing in not dock mode, god damn it. If you're playing on your TV and you're not using the screen at all, you can't even turn off the screen, or you can't even put it to sleep. The screen is on no matter what.
So the battery life's just garbage.
If you're using your Pro controller with the Wii U gamepad sitting on a table, and you're trying to focus on your TV, the screen is still like in your peripheral vision, just playing whatever video's on. And it's not video, but whatever the video feed is.
It wasn't programmed to just shut off
Yeah,
because
and
it knows you're not using it. It just keeps
Yeah,
going.
my roommate has a Wii U. He's always like plugged in because it's like the battery just keeps running out on me.
The battery's bad. It feels like a Fisher-Price controller.
It looks like a Fisher-Price controller.
Like the Wii controller was bad, but at least it felt more durable than the Wii U pad, in my opinion.
Did it?
It did.
I've never spent enough time with it either.
Yeah, I played a lot of Zelda and Super Mario Galaxy.
Okay, but I will say with the Wii U gamepad, it did open a lot more options for game types. Because there are certain games like that one Mario game where like everyone else is looking at the TV trying to chase you, and the person on the gamepad is the only one with like a top-down view so they can see everyone. It did open up like different avenues for asymmetric gameplay.
It'd be perfect for like a Mario Party game or some kind of game like that.
I think it was Mario Party that I was thinking of.
Perfect for party games, you're right. Mini games like that.
It introduces like an asymmetry aspect, which is, it's not intuitive, but,
But for the regular status quo type of games, it's just horrible.
Yeah, but the status quo is the best quo.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It didn't work well for traditional games that you normally would like to play. However, it was the transition to the Nintendo Switch controller. Essentially, that was their vision, the Switch.
Yeah, because the Switch...
But the Wii U gamepad was the start. They were trying to get there. They couldn't get there with the price, design, whatever, the management of it all.
So in your opinion or your theory is that when they were designing the Wii U,
they wanted the Switch.
They had the Switch in mind, but they just didn't have the tech to follow.
They couldn't get there.
So that's why they kind of tacked it onto a Wii design.
Yeah, because remember, they were promoting and marketing that you could play this Wii U pad on its own. Yeah, someone's watching TV.
Within 10 feet.
Yeah, someone else is watching regular TV, and you're using a Wii U gamepad, using its on-screen to play your video game. Mm-hmm. That's what the Switch is now. They were at least it allowed Nintendo to get to the Nintendo Switch.
Is that a confirmed story? Is that your
theory? No, I'm just
because that's a damn good theory, actually.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. Eventually, that's what they were striving for.
Uh-huh.
Luckily, the only thing that the good thing that came out of the Wii U besides Smash 4 was that it allowed for Nintendo to keep striving for this, what we now know as the Switch.
Well, your biggest gripe? I know I got a lot of biggest gripes.
I mean, the existence, besides, the existence of the controller.
It used that same old shiny plastic, and here's the thing. The actual gamepad itself was like almost as big as the freaking console.
Yeah. It was huge.
It just
unnecessary.
As a living room setup, when you're trying to make everything look nice, and you got, like, where am I supposed to put this gamepad? Because if I put it side by side of the console, it's just as big as the console. It looks awful.
But besides the plastic glossy sheen, it was also really light, so it just didn't feel durable or sturdy at all.
Misleadingly light, because
that thing is huge.
Yeah, it's like a loaf of bread.
And it was still like, what the hell is so light?
Did have all the correct buttons. Are the buttons full size or like Switch size?
They're still pretty tiny.
They're still small?
I don't know if they're Switch size, but they're still pretty small. It was just like, come on, man. But another good thing with the Wii U gamepad.
Another good thing. What was the first good thing?
It led to the Switch.
Okay,
I want to say the design team continued on with that original plan.
I'll give you that because I think that's a real possibility. That's true.
And if you're an Amiibo fan, it brought the existence of Amiibos. You're just a collector, not even just using the Amiibo, but as a collector.
Weren't Amiibo started on the Wii generation?
No, Wii U, because you put it on the gamepad, like on the top bottom left corner. There was a space where it connected through NFC.
I thought there was an NFC chip in the Wii.
No, there's no. Just the IR blaster.
Okay. IR blaster. What was that for?
The Wii U bar, the Wii bar.
Oh,
that's how
snap.
It detected the Wii controller.
Right. Yeah. I can't believe we didn't touch it on the Wii.
That huge black bar in the top of the controller.
Well, it was great for the white Wii.
Oh, this is the black plastic.
I can't believe we didn't touch that because that bar is the most awkward thing in the world to try to place because there's a cord right down the center. So you can't place it anywhere in your setup where it'd be symmetrical because that cord would get in the way of like your TV stand or whatever. So you either got to put it below your TV
or on top
center,
of it,
or on top of your TV. But with flat screen TVs, everyone had to use like double-sided tape or rubber bands or whatever because it's got nowhere to rest.
To be fair, it came with its own tape.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't
just
know.
Like released the plastic. It was part of the Wii bar itself.
Yeah, but
no, it still sucked. I'm just saying.
Freaking.
Just trying to be fair.
I'm not taping my TV, bro. Oh, Wii, just terrible consoles. Wipe it from history.
Worst, controllers for that generation and arguably of all time.
Oh, and actually to touch on that motion control, we're still working on the same generation here. Kinect.
You want to touch on that?
That brought about the Kinect and the PlayStation Move controllers.
Okay, we should touch on it because they are technically controllers.
Did the Kinect come out after the Wii?
Yes.
It's just
direct response, obviously, to the success of the Wii financially,
what the heck
business-wise.
The Kinect was. It's just a camera and like all these games.
It's cool tech. It's just for implementing it into the gaming space, it wasn't good. It was fun for like Dance Central, but that lasted like 5 minutes.
And Dance Central's the only game that it worked well with.
Yeah, that was it.
And like, I just don't understand from the company's standpoint. In what world do they think that parents are going to allow a camera to run in front of their child? In front of their child when the child is playing unsupervised.
That was another concern of the whole privacy issue. Always, when you're connected online.
Yeah.
Who knows who can connect to that thing? There was always a concern for parents.
So, I mean, some people really like it as like a media center type of thing because it kind of...
because it had that voice control
it's
aspect.
Precursor to like, Hey Google's, Hey Siri.
Yeah, that was pretty cool at the
Alexa,
time.
So... It's not nowhere near advanced like AI. It's just media controls essentially.
Yeah,
is what it does.
Like play the music, play the movie, play the show, pause.
Yeah, you and me both know somebody that will like live and die by the Xbox Kinect, but that's a different story.
I'm sure he said that Microsoft killed it for the Xbox One.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure he loves Xbox's NC, but blames Microsoft for this decision.
PlayStation Move.
Yeah, PlayStation Move.
I didn't have enough experience on it, but it looked weird with that shiny ball at the top.
Yeah, my biggest experience with it is that the E3 conference that they announced it on, they were showing
Kobe.
What?
Oh, keep going.
The E3 conference that they announced. Forget what year it was, but they're like, check this out. We got motion controls, but it's better than the Wii because it's 1-to-1 motion. And they were just showing all these demos of like these janky. It looked like Super Hot. You ever heard of the game Super Hot?
Yeah.
It looked like those dudes coming at you with swords and shields. You're like, look, we got 1-to-1 motion. It's like
Super hot.
It's like lazy VR 5 years too early.
Yeah, it's funny because they're using that now for the current PlayStation VR.
Yeah, and the tech itself was really advanced.
No, it's really advanced.
It is a very one-to-one experience, but like, what are you gonna do with that?
Again, the games just didn't work. Just no one developed enough to use those controllers to the best of its ability and potential.
Plus, that controller looked a little...
It's just weird.
It looked a little PG-13, if you know what I mean.
Hey! You can change the colors.
Whoa. But one little fun fact, did you know that those balls on top, they're not like a hard plastic. They're squishy.
Yeah, you can squish it. Yeah, I was like, whoa.
They're squishy.
You squish it.
Yeah, but on camera, it's like, whoa, huh.
Yeah, what is that for? I mean, obviously the track, but I mean also the squishy.
But it is very cool that they were able to turn that tech into PSVR now.
Yeah, they were able to utilize their old tech.
They're using those balls on top as like a color tracker, and that's how they get that one-to-one motion in VR. So it's really cool how they were able to retrofit old technology into like new technology. And
save the budget.
Yeah, that's actually
in terms of R&D.
Cool. Yeah, and it kind of, I don't want to say save face for Sony, but you know, you go back and that's pretty cool, Sony.
No, you're able to use it for something, exactly.
And to be fair enough,
Recycle.
Sony, I think PlayStation VR is like the #1 most popular VR.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Nowadays,
it's the cheapest.
It's affordable.
And it's easy to set up for I mean, in terms relative to other VR setups.
Yeah, but that's not... Well, the thing is, PlayStation VR is the most popular now, but in its most popular form is headgear with a traditional controller. Mm-hmm. I don't know if too many games actually use the PlayStation Move as part of the system.
No, they do. It's just... There's obviously VR still in its infancy.
Okay. Yeah, and as far as I know, the only like AAA VR game out there is Resident Evil 7.
Resident Evil 7, Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo's on VR?
Yeah, the Gran Turismo Sport they just released a couple months ago.
Yeah, but you're obviously not going to use the PlayStation Move for those two games.
No, the whole idea is you're in VR and you're driving.
And I've never...
You can see the...
I've never experienced it myself, but it's never seemed super intuitive to me to have VR on my head, but then I still control with a traditional controller.
No, it's cool for... I never tried it, but I want to try it. Gran Turismo. That'd be so sick with the steering wheel, the pedals.
Yeah.
And then your head. That's the only thing. Obviously, it's not... The resolution won't be as high on the current PlayStation VR, but I just want to try it out.
What is the resolution on PSVR?
I'm not sure, but it's not comparable to the Vive or the Oculus.
I know
obviously.
advanced VR is 1440p in both eyes.
Yeah. It's not that great.
That's not possible.
That's one of the weaknesses of the...
Because the PS4 can barely handle 1080p sometimes at 60. And that's a really important thing is in VR you have to have at least 60 frames because people will puke.
No, yeah, you need it has to be smooth. It's dual displays right there in your eyes.
Yeah.
But let's close out this current generation that we're on.
Yeah,
what is that? PlayStation 3?
You started a bad trend that everyone else copied.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Apple. Notch.
What?
The notch.
Oh, Android's. I mean, it's their decision.
And remove the headphone jack.
Why? But yeah, what else?
I blame Apple for every bad trend in the world. Because everyone copies them. Like, they copy them for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, no, it's their decision. Apple has too much influence.
It's their wrong decision, right?
Yeah, it's Android's fault. Or the manufacturer's fault.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of a wrap on this generation. We already touched on the Wii U gamepad.
The Wii U, the 360. It's weird because what is the Wii? Like, what generation is the Wii U part of? I mean, obviously 360 and... No, it's not. What is that? Because then we have the Switch. I don't know. The Wii U is weird, right? It's its own transitional generation. They're like, all right, let's move on.
I'd say in comparison to Xbox and Sony, I'd say those two, both of them are in the same generation as those two.
That's weird because I think Wii U, it was the first one to come out, but it was supposed to be part of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One generation, but it just sucked so bad they had to move on and move forward.
See, the thing is, I don't even know when the Wii U was launched.
I think it had a year head start. Xbox One. Or no, maybe it was even around the same time or afterwards.
As the PS4?
Yeah, sorry. Xbox One and PS4.
Well, the PS4
PS4 came up they had the year head start, right?
Well, PS4 didn't have a year. It was probably like a 6-month head start over Microsoft.
But that was another big thing, having that head start, though. 6 months or a year. It makes a difference.
Yeah, it does.
For some reason, it made a huge difference.
Timeliness, man. That's the best quality I have in the world.
Timing.
Don't do that.
I did it.
What the hell are we talking about?
We're going on to the next generation.
No,
PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch.
Okay. Not much to say to those. Those were all... Switch is a whole different deal, but Sony and Xbox were iterative generations in terms of controller. But
they still obviously look different.
I will say the PS4 touchpad Doesn't matter too much.
Waste of time, but at least it's not in your way.
Waste of time, but it's better than the 6-axis gimmick.
Yeah, at least it's not in your way.
Yeah.
They're not shoving it in your face anymore.
But number one thing, build quality is 1,000,000 times better.
Finally.
God, solid.
For all sides.
Yeah, for all sides, but especially Sony had the biggest jump in terms of build quality.
Yeah, because I think they understood that.
It's just so solid, and it's actually a newer shape. It's not the same shape as the DualShock 2 or DualShock 3. Mm-hmm. They kind of rounded out
more
the
round
grip. Mm-hmm. Contours a lot better. Freaking solid. I can't let that go. It's just so solid.
Feels much better.
And here's the thing that gets me the most about it is that I have a solid build quality controller with the layout of sticks that I like.
Yeah, and the triggers they're more like actual triggers. They feel better.
Yeah,
at least
they
in my
reverse
opinion,
triggers,
they feel better.
and it looks good. Mm-hmm. I have that sick gray camel one.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It just feels better.
Yeah, it looks solid, and like I feel like I can beat that thing up. I use that thing to play Devil May Cry a lot, and that game a lot of mashing.
Oh, and they're coming out with that collection too.
It's out.
Oh, it's out already?
Yep.
I didn't know. 5's coming, or what is it? 5? What are they on?
5's not coming. You keep saying that. I don't buy it.
Want to bet E3? It's coming out.
No, I'm not. I don't want to bet against my own wishes. I don't believe
They're gonna announce it in E3. Watch it.
I want it to come out. I just don't believe it.
They already announced Mega Man Collection Legacy 2. It's coming out, man.
I don't see why you're equating announcing a collection to releasing a new game.
No, I've seen a lot of rumors already, and the fact that they released this collection before this. It just makes sense. These things are lining up. The stars are lining.
Once Devil May Cry 5 is out, I will gladly buy you dinner. Gladly.
It's coming. You heard it here first. Episode 8? This is episode 8? I'm getting a dinner, baby. Sometime after summer. Sometime during summer.
But it's got to be better than DMZ.
No, wait. You just said if it's announced.
Damn it. But I won't be satisfied unless it's better. The DMC's garbage.
It should be.
DMC's garbage.
It should be easy to be better than that game, right?
Okay, you know what? I will buy you dinner if it is a Capcom-made Devil May Cry.
Yeah, of course it is. It's their property.
Yeah, but
it's coming out.
Last one was Ninja Theory and Ninja.
Oh, okay. You mean who were the original developers for that?
Capcom.
Capcom's like head division studio, whatever.
It's just Capcom.
Okay.
Capcom proper.
Publishing and developing.
Capcom
they're still their
proper.
studio. Cool. That's happening. You heard it here first. Episode 8, baby.
Okay, but
Part-time nerds. Okay. That's a dinner, baby.
Here's the deal. I'm right until I'm proven wrong. So you got to buy me dinner until I'm proven wrong.
Okay, I didn't agree to these terms.
It was written to your contract for this podcast, right? Come on. I'm kidding. No, but seriously, if Devil May Cry 5 comes out and published and made by Capcom,
yeah, that's happening. Not another, like, they're not going to publish it or have another studio develop it. It's going to be published and developed by Capcom.
Yeah, because Devil May Cry 4 is it's a freaking 11-year-old game now.
Virgil's going to be in this.
Ooh, that's important.
That's a beer or something.
Virgil,
on top of the dinner.
Virgil, Dante, and Nero. I love the way all three of those guys play. It's just so fluid.
That's right.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I just can't wait for this dinner.
I can't wait for the game, right? Once it's out, I'll gladly buy you dinner, but it has to come out. Yeah, it's the perfect controller for like a high intensity, high input, beat the crap out of your controller situation.
Yeah, sticks feel great. Yeah, overall that feels great.
Solid. You know what? I'd probably say that's my most used controller now, if we're not counting mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, but then
horses for courses on that situation.
Xbox One controller is also good.
Let me touch that one quick thing.
Yeah.
Before I bought a PS4 controller, because I just looked at it, it always looked weird to me in photos.
It does.
It didn't look like it would fit your hand well. It does, but never looked like it. So that's why I ended up buying that Razer. I think it was a Sabertooth.
Okay.
Which is it's just it's Razer's like improvement on the 360 controller. Problem with that controller is that the D-pad, they got rid of the disc, but then it just became 4 discrete buttons, which is
you don't like that.
Probably just as bad, really.
Yeah.
Probably just as bad.
Yeah, but you're right. When I saw the PlayStation 4 controller for the first time, it looked weird, especially with that rectangular D-pad at the front. It just looked weird.
And in your hand, it feels a lot.
But it feels great.
Yeah, in your hand, it actually feels a lot bigger than it looks.
Very functional and pragmatic controller right
that
there.
D-pad or that touchpad. I don't get it.
Weird. At least it's not in your face.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt
when you're playing the game.
It's like the touchscreen on the Switch.
Yeah, at least it's there.
It's there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
doesn't hurt anything. So live with it. Deal with it. So, the Xbox One controller.
I thought I think it's also a good, solid controller.
Also good, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this generation is pretty solid controller setup.
They fixed the one biggest issue with the 360 controllers that has a solid D-pad now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it has a really good D-pad. It's probably second.
No, that's pretty good too. Yeah,
it's probably a top.
Especially improving upon the 360.
It's a top tier. It's a top tier D-pad.
Yeah, and they have that elite. They call it the Xbox
that thing's
One Elite controller. Man, they have that option for you too for your super diehards.
I could have sworn that's the one that had the flipping D-pad that you were talking about.
No, they started at the 360.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they just went one step further with this Elite setup that you could customize colors, button lay. Oh man,
that Elite controller looks good.
It looks good, man.
The only thing I don't like about it is that the every face button and D-pad thing, it's swappable, but it's held on by magnets.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're like hard pieces that attach via magnets over the membranes, which is
it's supposed to be a streamlined way to just swap parts.
Yeah,
customize.
But if you push too hard, it might just pop out
or get stuck.
How would something?
I don't know. It sounded. I think it sounds good on mic.
But it might pop out. I'm not sure about that magnet situation, but I get that they're trying to make it customizable. Expensive as all hell.
Yeah, but it's an option for those who are willing to.
And here's the thing: when you compare it to other major brand custom controllers like Razer or it's not that much more expensive really, and it's a first party.
First party, you get.
My biggest problem with the Xbox One controller, the original one.
Okay.
They replaced
the stock one.
Mm-hmm. They replaced a lot of the parts with glossy plastic.
Oh, what parts were glossy? I can't.
Almost like the entire bottom.
Oh, the bottom portion. That's what. Okay.
The entire bottom portion was slick and glossy. Top portion where the bumpers are. So are the triggers. The triggers were always glossy, but it's fine.
It's always glossy. Yeah.
But when you're holding it, I felt like my hands were sweating all over again. But they fixed that in later as iteratives as the new Xbox Ones kept coming out. They kept fixing it.
Oh, okay.
So
it's made everything else. Okay.
They're learning. It's good. And I really feel it's glossy plastic has to be just like a cheaper material. Mm-hmm. Like it's probably cheaper for them to save on manufacturing costs because of that. I think that's why.
Or maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe they believe the marketing team or someone just believes the shiny glossy sheen.
That's probably
just has a better effect on, say, photos.
Yeah, that's probably true, too.
Putting it on magazines or websites, it just looks better. I don't know.
Wait until you own it for a week and all the scratches everywhere.
It's great. All these scuffs, fingerprints everywhere.
But yeah, this generation's been really solid controller-wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then let's see. The Switch. Obviously, the Joy-Cons themselves.
I think we talked a lot about
We talked about the Joy-Cons. It's not.
I think I like the Joy-Cons a lot more than you do.
No, I like the Joy-Cons.
The buttons are too small.
In handheld mode, they're one of the best. Yeah. It's just that when you make it its own controller layout with the out-of-the-box configuration, it sucks.
100%.
That's when you have to get the Pro controller version.
What's that weird grip thing?
The grip
that you slide
accessory
the Joy-Cons in?
You slide the Joy-Cons in.
It's weird, awful because now your arms are like laid out perfectly perpendicular to your body, so like you're holding it in a weird motion. The placement of the buttons are now like perfectly square.
It creates a weird rounded square. It just doesn't feel natural at all.
Your sticks are crisscrossed where it's like 4 buttons on your left hand's below, 4 buttons on your right hand's on top, and then like the sticks are offset, and it looks nice on a marketing term for like their logo or their box.
Oh, it looks sick.
When you have it in your grip, it's like god, it's awful. Why?
But that's what the Pro controller is for. Nintendo Switch. Obviously, you have to pay a pretty penny for it, $79.99 MSRP.
Yeah,
but it feels good. It feels good if you play a lot of Switch games.
It feels good. I wouldn't put it above like a
360 I wouldn't put it above those games. Or controllers. You're right.
Not above a 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the D-pad is better, but it goes back to the.
But the other buttons on the 360, everything else about the 360 is better, and I use that more for a lot of the games I would play. So
it goes back to the NES thing with the D-pad. There's no central pivot on the regular Pro controller, so the whole T actually clicks down as well. That was fixed in the Xenoblade Chronicle edition of the controller.
Oh, okay.
Problem is, you go to Amazon right now, that controller is like $150
no wonder.
or something.
Besides
like
the fact that it's like a limited edition Xenoblade theme.
Looks nice.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know they also changed the D-pad.
Yeah, well, they didn't market it at all. It's just something they did.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, why not?
And then people found out, posting that, oh, we gotta get this one. This is the one to get.
Yeah, but D-pad. The D-pad actually, without the central pivot, it's still better than most D-pads.
And everything else feels good as well, and nothing else to say. The best part of it, in my opinion, is the battery.
Battery life?
Battery life.
Oh.
And USB Type-C connection.
Well, it has to be USB Type-C.
Look into the future, baby.
It has to be because the Switch is a USB Type-C. You gotta keep things consistent.
You can't put that past Nintendo or it could have been like a micro USB, but then the other one's Type-C.
Like, who's the Nintendo hater now?
What? Not me. Everybody loves Nintendo right now.
I'm objective with Nintendo. That's why when you guys listen to this podcast, you know I'm the reliable one.
I am the reliable one.
I am Iron Man.
I am Iron Man. Oh,
I beat you to
oh
it.
man. Come so close. But I mean, we're going to touch what you want. You should touch on mouse and keyboard, how you feel for that layout and what it's best for, in your opinion.
Huh.
You should touch lightly on that.
You know, as much as I play on PC, I feel like compared to most PC gamers, I am unequipped to do it justice.
Okay.
So, but I'll touch on it.
But you play on that. You play Overwatch with that.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, duh, right?
Any kind of shooter. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't care what you're used to.
Yeah.
Mouse and keyboard is objectively better.
Yeah, there's nothing else to talk about when it comes to to that.
Anybody who says,
aspect.
"Oh, it's weird. I'm not used to it," grow up. I'm sorry. It's better.
Oh man. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I guess as a blanket statement, to any kind of shooter, third person or first person shooter, mouse and keyboard.
Mouse and keyboard.
And on the other hand, any kind of hack and slash third person, like we were talking about, like God of War, Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
Controller.
Mouse and keyboard. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Controller's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just something about being able to access more face buttons and like being able to access the triggers discreetly. It functions better for things that require you to juggle a lot of movements.
Yeah.
With
Especially with
both
those
hands.
type of games, you don't need the whole keyboard setup.
Yeah, because with the keyboard, you only got essentially 2 buttons on the mouse. And then you're using 3 different fingers for up WASD, moving back and forth. It's just it takes a lot more inputs to do the same motions. So yeah, that gives you more options, I suppose, or more control. But then like you're doing a lot more juggling than you need to for certain types of games than others. So that's really all there is to it.
All there is to it. It's easier to type, when you're raging on a keyboard. So there's that.
You gotta get that caps lock on.
Boom. Easy.
But I'm not really too much of an expert on it, but I'd say horses for courses. I'm not saying one method's objectively better than the other.
Seabiscuit.
In terms of usage, I'd probably say I use controllers more than mouse and keyboard, really.
Yeah.
If you're talking games overall.
Yeah, but for the type of games you would play, I would play. Yeah.
I will say on PC, you should be using a wired controller.
Yeah.
If you're going to go the controller route, because you're sitting in front of your computer. You don't need
you're
a wireless controller for that.
Yeah.
But what's more important is if you're playing competitively or any kind of game like that.
You have to.
What matters is
what matters is the latency. What matters?
No. Input latency. But I think that's pretty much a wrap for what we want to cover.
Is our plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We finally got through the controller generation.
Yep, and we will see you in 10 years to cover. We'll see you in 10 years to cover the next couple generations of controllers.
Oh, and hopefully by then Nintendo creates better and more
Joy-Con colors.
Joy-Con colors.
This has been Part-Time Nerds, Episode 8. Please subscribe, leave a review.
Please follow us on all your favorite podcasts.
Yeah, we're actually...
services. We're there now, baby.
We're there on a lot of services. Not Spotify, thank you.
Except Spotify. That's the only... We're working on it. That's the only one. The big one we're not on.
Leave us some feedback. Follow us on PET Nerds. We're going to try to use that account.
Yeah, at some point. So follow us and hope you guys have a good one. Thanks.